We are now going to do a Solve for X review, so make sure you have your Solve for X notes that I posted in Google Classroom or your notebook to follow along. You will be using a lot with Solve for X in your next few years in math with equations and inequalities. I'm going to start with going over some of the equation problems with you right now. So you probably remember these. These are our 6 Solve for X steps. Okay, just a quick read through of these reminding you of what they are. The first thing that you want to do for all equations and inequalities to get x by itself is distribute. You then want to see if there's fractions to clear. Step 3 is combine like terms. Step 4, move x's to the left. Step 5, move numbers to the right. And step 6, divide by the coefficient. So you know you're done when the variable is by itself on the left-hand side. Okay, so let's do a few examples together. Okay, let's do number 1 just because it starts off pretty easy. Okay, so there are not any parentheses or fractions to clear on number 1. There are also not any like terms on either side. If you need to draw a wall through your equal sign to remind you that there's 2 sides to all of these equations, you may do that. The next thing you want to ask yourself is the x already on the left? It is. So now we're going to move numbers to the right. Remember, you always do the opposite to get it to the other side. So we're subtracting it. So we have 3x equals 15. Divide both sides by 3. So your solution is x equals 5. Okay, and you do not need to worry about a number line for this video. All right, number 2. So now this one's good. There are parentheses and a fraction that we're going to take care of. Make sure that you have your calculator out. The first thing you want to do is clear parentheses. To clear parentheses, you are multiplying or distributing, I should say, what's in front of the parenthesis. So 2/3 times, there's a 1 in front of the x. 2/3 times 1x gives us 2/3 x. So 2/3 times 8, you're going to use your calculator. You would type in 2 divided by 3 times 8. Math, enter, enter. Remember, you want to keep it in terms of a fraction. So always press math, enter, enter to convert. Once your parentheses are gone, you now want to look and see if there's any fractions left. There are. So do you remember how to clear this fraction? I want you to think about that for a minute. Okay, so you want to remember that you're multiplying every term by the denominator. So if you remember to clear that fraction, multiply all of them by 3. Okay, so you have 2x, because the 3's cancel there, plus 16, because the 3's cancel, equals 6x. So that's a really important step. Get rid of that fraction. It will make it a lot easier for you. The next step says to combine like terms, but there's nothing to combine. So now we're going to move x's to the left. This one's going to be a little bit weird here. You are going to move the 6x to the other side. And remember, we're always doing the opposite. So when you move that, you have negative 4x. Drop down your plus 16. So on this side, you're asking yourself, what is 6x minus 6x? It's 0. So nothing's there, but you need a placeholder of 0. Okay? So it's okay if something is missing on the other side. Just put a 0. You now move numbers to the right. So move the numbers to the other side. So I'm going to drop down the negative 4x equals 0 minus 16 is negative 16. And then divide both sides by negative 4. So that's dividing by our coefficient. Okay, when you divide two negatives, remember, you get a positive. So you have x equals 4. Okay. Okay, let's look at number 3. So these are going to get a little bit harder. If you didn't do this already, if you would like to pause the video to try these without me and then hit play again to see if you did it right, that's probably a good idea. This one is similar to 2 because we do have a fraction with parentheses again. So this 1/2 is going to get multiplied by the 8x and the negative 16. The 2x here, you're not distributing with the 1/2 because it's not inside the parentheses. So remember, you slide that down. 1/2 times 8x is 4x. 1/2 times 16 is minus 8. So again, drop down your 2x, rewrite your 9x plus 8. Okay? So at this point, we want to see now, are there any fractions to clear? There are not. We're going to see if there's any like terms. And remember, your like terms are only the terms that appear on the same side of the equation. So on the left side, you have a 2x and a 4x. So you're going to add those and get 6x. Drop down everything else. Okay? So it's looking better. Once your like terms are combined, you then move your x's to the left. Okay, combine them. So 6 minus 9 is negative 3. Drop down your minus 8 and your positive 8. Okay, you are now moving numbers to the right. So we're adding our 8 to both sides. Drop down your negative 3x equals 16. And then lastly, we want to get rid of the coefficient. So divide both sides by negative 3. Check on your calculator, can you reduce 16 and negative 3? So you would check 16 divided by negative 3, math, enter, enter. You cannot simplify that any further. So your answer stays as negative 16/3. Okay, so that's a good one to make sure you understand. Let's do one more. So I'm going to skip 4 and 5 for now. Let's go to number 6, which I know is blank. And I want you guys to add in, let's do 3x minus 2 equals 2 parenthesis 3x plus 4 parenthesis. Okay, so similar setup as the other ones we did, but I just want to make sure you're okay distributing on the right and not always just the left. So you would rewrite our 3x minus 2 on the left. The 2 on the right gets multiplied by the 2 terms inside parentheses. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, once you do that, go through and see other fractions to clear no. Are there any like terms on either side that we can combine? There's not. So you go right to, move your x's to the left. So we get negative 3x. Drop down your minus 2 equals 8. You then want to move numbers to the right. So you have negative 3x equals 10. And then get rid of your coefficient. So divide both sides by negative 3. Get your calculator, see if 10 divided by negative 3, math, enter, enter, can be reduced any further. Okay, it cannot, so your answer stays as negative 10/3. Alright, so the assignment you're going to do is going to look similar to these. I think there's 8 problems on it. So I want you guys to take your time. Yeah, it looks like this. Email me with any questions. And I will post a video next week of the solutions and me going over these.